So last week on my Instagram, I did a poll as to which +5 magazine extension I should get because honestly, I've never bought one. Um, I honestly am just a little bored. So I just wanted to get some accessory to look forward to in the mail. So I had a poll for SLR, the Jagerwerks, and doesn't matter which one, they're both good. Those are the options you could choose from on the poll. And most people selected both are great, doesn't matter which one you get. So because I was curious, I decided to get both, one of each. This being the Jagerwerks, obviously, and this being the SLR, obviously. Functionally, they, as far as operating your weapon, they work as they should. They hold, 5 extra rounds, and the gun cycle's fine. So no problem there. However, I'm going to get a little nitpicky. I mean, these things are 45 bucks a piece, roughly. The SLR one is technically more expensive because it doesn't come with the spring. The Jagerwerks one does come with the spring, and it does come with a little flathead to push the bottom plate out, which is neither here nor there. You could honestly do it with a hex key if you wanted or something. But they are expensive. I mean, they're 45 bucks for this tiny little plate that adds a few extra rounds. So you want to make sure you get what you're paying for. You want to get the best product you can if you're spending that kind of money on something so small. So as far as looks go, I think I probably prefer the look of this one a little bit better, the Jagerwerks one. But that's super small in comparison. I like the way this one looks too, but if I had to pick one, I like this one. But there's a functional thing that I like more about the SLR than the Jagerwerks, and that is the set screw. So the SLR has a set screw, and the Jagerwerks just has these little notches right here to keep it in the back. Both have the little grooves cut out so the notches on the magazine can fit in here too. So I don't know because I haven't run these long term. I have never run +5 magazine extensions long term. So maybe someone on here can comment and say whether they've had this issue, but I don't know after a long while. I guess maybe if you drop it on concrete, maybe this would happen, but whereas one of these would actually pop out and your spring would come out and all your rounds would come out. I know I've seen it with AR magazines, full AR magazines. So I guess it's not impossible. But that being said, I still want to make sure, everything fails, even super reliable gear fails. I get that. But I still want to have the best gear I can find, and I still want to have some peace of mind that it's not going to be complete garbage and fail me off the bat. I'm not saying either of these are that, and but the Jagerwerks one, look how small that is. Look how much coverage these little notches have. It's very, very little. And when you add, and both of these are completely full with ammo, when you add the last round, the little bridges right here start to bow right in the center a little bit. So if this was half full, you'd get a little more coverage, but if it's completely full, you don't get nearly as much coverage. On the SLR one, you have this set screw, so even though you get that bow still a little bit, it's easier to see in person, but if you have them, then you've probably seen that too. You don't have that issue with the set screw because it covers a lot of ground on the back. And sorry for my janky fingernails. I work all day for a living, so don't really care. But I have more of a peace of mind that this isn't going to pop out. Now, granted, this is a screw. I know sometimes screw can come loose, and that happens. I did contact SLR about that, and they said to not use blue Loctite after I asked, and they said it should stay fine. And after I screwed it in there, and it has the little locking washer in the back, I think it is going to stay there. I'll probably still check it periodically just for peace of mind, but I really don't think it's going to come loose. Maybe someone on here has a different experience, but I don't think it will. It seemed really, really tight to me, even just doing it finger tight, which is what they recommended. So for that alone, I would go with SLR over the Jagerwerks, because if, say you get a ton of dirt in your magazine, or you ever need to clean it or replace the spring or something, the more you take the Jagerwerks one off, you know, on both of these, really, you're going to start to wear down these two notches for sure. So they're both the same in that regard. Um, but right here, you're going to have to get either a small flathead and get those up to push that out, but you're going to get wear right there. And the more wear you get right there and in the back, over time, you'll have to probably replace the magazine just to make this thing work. At least that's what I would think. Because this, even getting these things on there wore the plastic just a smidge. Like, you can, I don't know if you can kind of see it. But if you do that a few times, I mean, it might not be as reliable with this one. With the SLR, you just take the screw out, pop it off. You could replace the spring, clean it, whatever, slide it back on, and adjust the screw and tighten it. Even if those were gone, this would still be reliable because it covers more ground in the back from popping off. So for that alone, I would go with the SLR, even though it's a little bit, just a tiny bit more expensive because you have to buy the spring separately, which isn't a big deal to me. Since I'm already spending 45 bucks on a small piece of aluminum, I might as well just spend a little bit extra and get the spring anyway. I do appreciate that Jagerwerks includes the spring, but it's not a big deal. So that's one thing. I don't think over long term, the Jagerwerks one is going to be reliable because you'll have to replace the actual magazine just to make this thing function if you end up taking this thing off here and there. So another thing I like about the SLR versus the Jagerwerks are the serrations. They're on both sides, which is really cool. So I don't mind carrying a full-size gun. Well, the frame, I carry a 19X, which is the full-size frame. And I got these for concealed carry. So after running these concealed carry on my, just doing some dry fire work, and then also on my battle belt, these serrations are actually pretty awesome because it does help with the grip a little bit, especially if you're wearing gloves. So I really do appreciate these. And honestly, it's such a simple product, right? But I feel like SLR they have better features. I mean, it's smart. It's like, well, the more coverage, the less likely it is to pop off. The serrations are easier to grab on because it's going to be upside down when you go to grab it. So it's just little things like that I think that SLR thought about that for some reason Jagerwerks didn't. So, and I know there's other mag extension is out there from different companies, and a lot of them are super smooth and don't have any of this stuff going on, but these were the two most popular that was recommended to me and that I saw online, so I wanted to do a comparison between the two. So between these two, I would go with the SLR. Again, for the serrations and for the peace of mind that it's not going to pop off ever like this one most likely will, I would think. Some of you out there may think I'm crazy that would happen, but I mean, it's plastic, guys. It's going to wear down. And this versus aluminum, so when you're sliding this on and off, if you ever have to get rocks out or something, if you're in the dirt and you need to clean your magazine out or just replace your spring, the more this wears down, you're just going to have to replace the whole magazine. And that would suck to have to spend an extra 30, 40 bucks. And with the way our country's going and how expensive everything's getting, it's going to be even more expensive. So I feel like the Jagerwerks wound up costing you more money, really. And you know what's great about SLR is their customer service is fantastic. Jagerwerks has responded to my emails in a semi-reasonable time frame, but they don't have a phone number. These guys have a phone number. I really like to talk to somebody in person, well, over the phone. I don't like email because I feel like it's just a pain in the ass. It takes longer, and you don't. I just don't feel like it's as good as over the phone. So I appreciate that about SLR, that you can actually call them and talk to somebody, and they are there to help. So guys, between the two, I know everyone said it doesn't matter which one to get. They're both good. They do both function, but I have to say I think the SLR is going to last longer functionally, and it's going to keep you from replacing your actual magazine just to make it work. And it's going to operate better. And just for a little operator bonus, the serrations do help a lot. So for me, it's SLR. That's what I would pick. If that helps out, I hope it did. Thanks for watching. And if you guys have any other reviews you want me to do, just let me know.